We'll begin in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, where preparations are in full swing for the National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, scheduled to hold between Saturday, November the 15th and 16th, 2025. Adamawa State Governor and Chairman of the PDP Convention Planning Committee, Amadu Fintiri, confirmed that the party will hold its elective convention in Ibadan. Fintiri disclosed this during a brief interview with journalists after the committee's meeting at the Bauchi State Governor's Lodge in Asokoro. The meeting was attended by Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, PDP National Chairman Umar Damagun, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba, and former Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Tanimu Turaki, among others. While there are existing court orders stopping the convention from holding, the party's factional members have decided to go ahead with it. A very controversial convention from the get-go. Let's get some perspective. Dr. Pierce Adetokunbo is a PDP chieftain and a former governorship aspirant of the party in Lagos State. He joins us from Ibadan, venue of the party's Saturday convention. Good to have you, Dr. Adetokunbo. All right, I don't think our connection has been established. We will get him on much later on the news. But let's tell you for now that stakeholders in adolescent development have converged on Lagos for an engagement under the platform for amplifying the voice and empowerment of girls, the PAVE project. The initiative is designed to build safe spaces and equip adolescent girls with essential health, financial, and life skills. Thank you for staying with us. We now bring you that report on adolescent development from the PAVE project.
At the heart of this gathering is a shared concern: the need to strengthen support systems for adolescent girls across Nigeria. Today's meeting brings together government officials, development experts, community leaders, and implementing partners, all seeking better strategies to empower girls in vulnerable communities.
This program is called the Platform for Amplifying the Voice and Empowerment of Girls, in short PAVE, and it is a girl-centered program that encourages girls and gives them information and access to be able to make informed decisions, empowering them on life-saving, health, financial and reproductive information, basically just giving them access to an holistic being of themselves to be able to make informed decisions.
The PAVE project, organizers say, is not just a training platform. It is a carefully structured, girl-centered safe space where young girls learn to express themselves, make informed decisions and develop leadership potential.
Community development area leaders of different communities where we want to implement this projects in this local government. So in Agege local government, we have Amao, we have Suru, and we have Orule Agege. So we have the chairmen, the youth leaders, the women leaders from these communities gathered here today to commit to the project development to their community, to buy into the project ideas.
For community leaders present, the project is also a call to action, one that requires continuous collaboration at grassroots level to ensure girls are protected and given opportunities to thrive.
I would score them 10 over 10 because this is a project coming to empower our girl child, our girl teenager within the community, and it's going to pave way for monitoring, to give them skill acquisition, and to also do a follow-up for them to be better teenager or better youth in the nearest future.
Every fellowship that is picked in every community would come up with a project that they want to do. So I think it's enlightening. It's a way of getting them involved in community projects, and it starts with one girl, one community, and it just transforms the world.
The organizers say the goal is simple: create an environment where every girl can speak, learn, and lead without fear. In Lagos, for News Central, Israel.
The Department of State Services, DSS, has recaptured wanted Atsaru terrorist Abdulaziz Obadaki, who masterminded the deadly attacks on banks in Uromi, Edo State, and fatal shooting at Deeper Life College, Okene, in Kogi State, all in 2022. Obadaki was one of the 879 inmates who escaped from Kuje jailbreak in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in July 2022 after the custodial facility came under deadly coordinated external attacks by members of the Islamic State-linked terrorist groups. Staying with security, Air Marshal Sunday Aneke, the Chief of Air Staff of the Nigerian Air Force, has vowed relentless pursuit of insurgents, terrorist and criminal groups destabilizing Nigeria. During an operational visit to the air component of Operation Fason Yama in Katsina, he emphasized that no part of Nigeria would serve as a safe haven for these threats. Aneke describes the country's security situation as increasingly complex, with ruthless non-state actors causing widespread violence. He stressed that the military's response must be precise, innovative, and uncompromising, aligning with President Bola Tinubu's directive to eliminate threats to citizens' safety. Let's talk appointments now. President Bola Tinubu has reappointed retired Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa as chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency for another 5-year term, extending his tenure to 2031. Marwa, first appointed in 2021 by former President Muhammadu Buhari, has been widely commended for strengthening Nigeria's fight against drug trafficking. Under his watch, the agency recorded over 73,000 arrests and seized more than 15 million kilograms of illicit drugs. A former military governor with academic training from the University of Pittsburgh and Harvard, Marwa has also been at the forefront of nationwide campaigns against drug abuse. President Tinubu urged him to sustain the momentum, describing the youth protection from drug threats as a national priority. Tonight returns after this very short break. Do stay with us. Glad you're still with us. Nigerian fintech company Paystack has suspended its co-founder and chief technology officer, Ezra Olubi, following allegations of workplace-related sexual misconduct linked to resurfaced tweets. The tweets, which were posted between 2009 and 2013, contained sexually explicit remarks, including jokes involving colleagues and comments about experiencing erections during meetings. Social media users also highlighted posts in which Olubi referenced taking photos of a female co-worker's thighs, as well as disturbing comments involving minors, bestiality, and sexualized anemic character. Although Olubi's X account has since been deleted, online records indicate the posts were made before Paystack was founded. Let's turn now to organizational development expert, Professor Yomi Fawemi. His home zones are academics, workplace, and leadership. And we're stressing on that leadership part now. Granted that this happened before he co-founded Paystack, but it's a clear case of the internet never forgets. And I mean, what are we looking at here? He's been suspended already. Do you think there's a possibility that he will be expelled from Paystack?
Good question. It's important for us to lay the framework in the sense that while this gentleman is the co-founder of Paystack, he's also postured like an employee of the organization. So if you check the organizational, the web page of the organization, you're going to see his picture alongside that of other employees. And so therefore there's a dual relationship there, his relationship as a co-founder and also his relationship as an employee. Therefore, to that extent, his employer, in this case Paystack, has a right, a duty, an obligation to place him under suspension while these issues are being investigated. As a co-founder, that is a decision to be left to the board. And perhaps the regulatory agencies that need to determine whether this person is fit and prosper to be on the board of an organization. the tweet is sent, and as you know, in Nigerian laws, nobody is guilty except when the court declares person. So we can't say he's guilty yet. But he had made self-incriminating statements in those tweets. There are about 8 dimensions of what he has tweeted about. 5 or 6 of them borders on criminality. 2 or 3 borders on corporate governance and fitness for duty. So when you make a tweet about your interaction with a cat, that is something that negates the law in Nigeria, because we have section 2142 of the criminal code that talks about bestiality, because in Nigeria it's part of the criminal code. Your sexual relations with an animal is bestiality defined in criminal code. So that's the law. That's one law that those tweets have shown. There's also the question about dealing with minors. So when you want to check our laws, the Violence Against Persons Act, when you want to check Child Rights Act, when you want to check Nigerian Constitution, there are human rights laws, you see bundle of offenses and infraction bordering on child abuse and things like that. There are also tweets about the female gender that directly negates the expectation of the WAP Act. They also tweet about what happened in the workplace. So this tweet exposes this man to a number of criminal liability.
Okay, so you referenced criminal liability and some of the things that he posted, which are clearly against the law in Nigeria. There are calls from public commentators and, Nigerians generally on social media for the police to get involved and investigate the claims that are being made. Because at this point, these are still claims. Do you follow with the request that he should be further investigated on top of the investigation that's being undertaken by Paystack at the moment?
Thanks. Great question. We need to also create the 2 categories of issues that may be at stake. So there are criminal issues and I've cited some of those laws that you could have flouted based on his self-confession. Because it was self-confession. Of course, even if he goes to court, the court will say ask him to explain himself, right? The procedure we need to still prove he was guilty. But he had made confession that vouched our criminal laws and our criminal code. He has also made statements or tweets that border on civil rights issues. Now, his employers may be bothered about those civil rights issues, and they may have a responsibility to investigate that. So, but the states, in this case, the police, in this case, the various state agencies that border on child protection, in this case, the Lagos State domestic violence agencies, also have an obligation in those laws I've cited to do an investigation, including the National Human Rights Commission of Nigeria, to say, based on what we have seen, we are going to investigate this. You may even be shocked that the Ministry of Agriculture may be concerned because an animal was involved. You may also be shocked that the Ministry of Health may want to start an investigation because he had talked about something related to HIV/AIDS in those tweets and sex. So the Ministry of Health may want to start to say they are in.
Yeah, but this will not rather be the first time that Nigeria and Nigerians are calling for investigation, or that investigation will be carried out. Because some people will say, let's lay the facts on the table. The tweets were put out before the founding of Paystack, 14 years later. His company wasn't even full-fledged then. Is that going to be able to pull him down? Not just him. Will it impact the Paystack as a company and the partners because he is the co-founder?
Yeah, another very important question to ask, because of the fact that this Paystack is not just a Nigerian company. It was acquired by Stripe, which is an American company. And so that's why I said there are about 8, 9, 10 dimensions of this. Now, because Stripe is an American company, that brings an international dimension. Remember, Paystack also has presence in other African countries. So there is a international dimension of this. What we also do not know is whether this gentleman has dual citizenship or some countries. I may make it on now. In some states in the U.S., crimes against children have no statute of limitation. We recently had a case where a man was sentenced for an offense committed over 40 years ago because he involved a minor. So if this man has done this and he has come out to say so, then somebody could go to those countries to go and file cases against this man for what he has done. Now, Stripe, as the organization that acquired this, being an American company, now also has a civil responsibility to respond, because Stripe cannot be quiet when one of the people it has done business with. Now, the question is that did it happen when after Paystack started? Because of the fact that he's a co-founder and potentially sits on the board, this comes to question his fitness to and his capacity to take a rational decision on behalf of shareholders. At this point, organizations like the Corporate Affairs Commission could be concerned whether this person is in the right frame of mind to represent the fiduciary interest of people on the board.
So the chances are, I mean, it's probably 50-50 that he may be disconnected if Paystack and Stripe are to save their reputation. But let's look at the social part of it. How important is it that Paystack comes out with the result of that investigation, and that this matter is not swept under the carpet? For leadership,
I think it's very important, and I saw the statement by Paystack. I want to commend them for doing that. I feel a part of the statement is very noble. I feel another part of the statement also is below the standard expected of an organization of that status. So they have something where they said they will not say anything till after the investigation. They said they are going to appoint an independent investigator. They owe us more than that. There should be some public engagement on who determines the selection of that independent investigator. Paystack should not choose the independent investigator. The reason being that this guy is a co-founder. So you can't say the organization you form, they are going to look for an independent investigator. You should be sure that most likely that process will not be very thorough. I expect that Paystack to at this point reach out to the Nigerian Bar Association, to reach out to, and openly say that, reach out to Charter Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria to say, nominate people to form a board of three.
Prof, we always need more time.
Paystack shouldn't be doing the investigation.
We always need more time with you. I hope we can have this conversation again, perhaps if there are further developments. Thank you so much for sparing the time to talk to us. Thank you for staying with us. The Africa Credit Expo 2025 is underway in Lagos, bringing together major players in Nigeria's credit, retail and fintech ecosystem. The event, which also introduces what organizers call Black Friday on Credit, aims to expand access to consumer credit while addressing concerns around affordability and financial inclusion. Placidia Imekulie reports.
Industry leaders, financial experts, lenders, business owners and consumers converged in Lagos for this year's Africa Credit Expo, a platform designed to deepen conversations around consumer credit, its risks and its opportunities in Nigeria's evolving financial landscape. Organizers say the goal is to demystify credit in a country where access is still limited, fears are high, and digital lending abuses have raised serious concerns.
Well, the goal of the African Credit Expo is to basically try to educate Nigerians and Africans eventually to have a level of financial literacy to understand the responsible use of credit. Information systems that we have created allows that to be possible. Allows lenders to be able to trust Nigerians so that if they understand that you have a habit of taking loans and paying back, then they're willing to give you credit.
This year's edition introduces a new initiative, Black Friday on Credit, an attempt to make discounted products more accessible to Nigerians by spreading payments over time, especially at a period when rising costs continue to stretch household purchasing power.
Our platform has evolved to now become the Africa Consumer Credit Academy. That academy is happening right here at the Expo. We are having masterclasses for lenders, masterclasses for SMEs, and masterclasses for the consumer. The other thing that we're doing as part of this educational platform is bringing to Africa for the very first time Black Friday on credit. So we're allowing for our stakeholders to come to this venue and to be able to provide the best products. You'll find them over here. Some of our sponsors have brought some of the best products, whether it's automobiles, whether it's home appliances, whether it is tools. If you're a trader and you need tools in order to do your business, they're bringing that here at the expo at the best price.
With inflation and economic uncertainty limiting spending, organizers say the expo provides a space for financial institutions and retail partners to engage directly with consumers while educating them on responsible borrowing and debt management.
With the credit bureaus, it put them along the right track, not only having them on the system, but also building that capacity, training them, bringing them up to speed, letting them know the processes to access funding, and of course making them ready for exports, because these are the gaps we experienced among our SMEs. They lack that knowledge. It's a huge gap. So capacity building is key to us.
Beyond sales and exhibitions, conversations here focus on regulations, consumer protection, and digital credit systems, all aimed at strengthening trust and expanding financial inclusion across Africa's largest economy.
In a first of its kind, more than 80 graduating cadets who recently earned higher national diplomas and national diplomas from the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron in Akwa Ibom State, received instant job offers and sea-time training opportunities during the institution's graduation ceremony. News Center's maritime correspondent, Norma Ubiaswalu, was at the graduation ceremony and brings us this report.
Breaking the sea-time jinx is the bold step Nigeria's maritime sector has long awaited. It is a breakthrough for real pathways for cadets to gain the practical world-class exposure they need to compete globally. This exactly is the story of 221 cadets who graduated recently at the Maritime Academy of Nigeria in Oron, Akwa Ibom State. During the ceremony, President of the Ship Owners Association of Nigeria, Sonny Eja, announced a total of 55 sea-time training opportunities for the cadets drawn across various disciplines and levels.
We have had engagements with the rector in Lagos, and there's this sort of partnership that we are trying to foster between SWAN, the Ship Owners Association of Nigeria, and Manoron. And we're trying to see how we can bring in the MASA, to see how we can provide spaces for cadets.
The 2025 Cadets Graduation Ceremony.
The Academy's acting rector, Dr. Kevin Okene, commended members of the nation's maritime community for their support, while he announced that for the first time in the history of the institution, approval for the staff conditions of service have successfully been completed.
I consider this a major milestone towards our efforts to attract and retain rare skilled professionals into the academy, and will also guarantee equity, motivation, and professional growth for our valued staff. Presently, there are 3 foreigners of Indian national of high professional capacity among our faculty members.
Amongst the 57 cadets with distinctions, the best overall graduating cadet, Chisom Anita Lawrence, stood out.
God has been the whole thing I have, the whole one that has been helping me, and also hard work. I tried my best.
The Senate and House of Representatives were represented by Wasiu Eshiloku and Baraje Yusuf, who promised budgetary provisions, support, and regional collaborations.
We don't have any other institution like this in this country that award diploma and higher diploma other than the Maritime Academy Oron. We as a National Assembly will do all it takes to ensure that this academy grow from strength to strength.
The National Assembly, through the Senate Committee on Marine Transport, remains fully committed to providing a strong legislative framework that promotes efficiency, safety, and global best practices in Nigeria's maritime sector.
While the graduating class embodies the Academy's standards of discipline, technical competence, and professionalism, it is expected that the institution will walk the path of a sustainable world-class maritime citadel in the interest of Nigeria's marine and blue economy. In Oron, Akwa Ibom State, for News Central, Norma Obiaswalo.
Many thanks, Norma, for that report. The joint health sector unions and the Assembly of Healthcare Professional Associations have declared an indefinite nationwide strike effective Saturday, November 15, 2025. The unions cited the federal government's persistent failure to implement the adjusted consolidated health salary structure and resolve long-standing welfare and systemic issues affecting health workers as the reason for the strike. The decision was announced in a statement signed by the national chairman of Johesu, Comrade Kabiru Ado Minjibir. And one of our lead stories tonight, Tanzanian President Samia Hassan has told Parliament on Friday that an inquiry commission was being formed to investigate the killings that occurred during the election which returned her to power. Hassan also instructed the police and security forces to be lenient with young protesters who only followed the crowd after hundreds were arrested and charged with treason, which carries the death penalty. Hassan retained the presidency with 98% of the vote on October 29, according to the Electoral Commission. To Europe now, Russia has issued a stern warning to NATO, declaring that any attack on Moscow would be met with a full and uncompromising response. This follows Russia's massive drone and missile attack on Kyiv early Friday, killing at least 6 people and injuring over 30 others, including children and a pregnant woman. The strikes targeted residential buildings across nearly every district in Kyiv, causing widespread damage, fires, and evacuations. Russian forces also intensified offensives in eastern Ukraine, pushing into towns despite fierce Ukrainian resistance. We're on a short break, and when we return, we have business, sports, and entertainment news. Just stay with us.
This segment is brought to you by MoneyPoint.
Talking business now, Nigeria's Senate's Committees on Finance and Banking questioned Obeyi Okafor, President Bola Tinubu's nominee for co-chair of the Unclaimed Funds Trust Fund, which manages unclaimed dividends and dormant bank accounts inactive for over 6 years. Okafor pledged to prioritize capital preservation while ensuring productive risk management and risk-managed investment of the funds, emphasizing that government's access would support fiscal expansion. She stressed that the funds remain in trust for rightful owners, but should not remain idle. Lawmakers sought justification for her appointment and clarity on her vision. Okafor, a former MD of Edo Tourism and a London-trained lawyer, awaits Senate confirmation next Tuesday. We also tell you that the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASIN, has called on PENCOM and major oil companies to address growing pension disparities affecting retirees in the oil and gas sector. Speaking at a pension summit in Abuja, PENGASIN President Festus Osifo said many retirees under the defined benefit scheme face worsening hardship as their payments have remained stagnant despite inflation and a weakening naira. Osifo noted that 90% of closed pension schemes do not adjust benefits regularly, leaving retirees dependent on management's goodwill. PENCOM, represented by Abdulkadir Dalhatu, assured stronger oversight and improved monitoring of pension fund administrators to protect retirees' welfare. Looking at the equities market, the all-share index closed at 147,013.59 points with a drop of 0.02%. Actually, it's an appreciation when you look at it. Now, market capitalization inched slightly higher at 93.50 trillion naira. Well, the muted movement reflected a quiet session, I must say, with a mixed investor sentiment across key sectors. Let's now look at sectoral performance, starting with the banking sector, which actually fell 1.4 0.4%. Sell pressure persisted in Tier 1 names such as GTCO and Access Corporation. Now, insurance slipped 0.05%, showing mild declines across select counters. Oil and gas edged up 0.09% on modest interest in supply. While we see that consumer goods also inched up 0.06%, supported by large buying in beverage stocks. Finally, we look at industrial goods that are appreciated by 1.39% on renewed demand for Dangote cement. So that's how we tracked the market performance as for today. That's it on business. I am Lekon Onobanjo.
This segment is brought to you by MoneyPoint.
The 50th Ikoyi Club Ladies Golf Championship wrapped up today at the Ikoyi Club 1938 Golf Section in Lagos. This prestigious tournament marked a significant milestone in Nigerian golf, celebrating 50 years of commitment, skills development, and building connections with ladies across Africa and beyond. The events themed Go Beyond Golf and Golfing featured top amateur golfers from Nigeria and other countries, including Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, and Zambia. On the final day, Uganda claimed the top 2 spots. Peace Kabawaska finished first in the Handicap 2 category, while her compatriot Gloria Mbaguta finished as runner-up as she competed in the silver category.
Feels so special, and I'm happy about it. I really thank God for it. We had our ups and downs with my caddy, but I thank God that we made it as a winner, yeah. My only challenge was on the greens. The greens were very slow. For some reason, my body did not adjust to my putting stroke. So the greens were very slow. I could not commit on most of my putts. Yeah, that's why I lost most of the strokes.
Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Burns successfully made weight ahead of their highly anticipated rematch at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday. Eubank, who was fined earlier in the year for narrowly missing the middleweight limit, hit the 72 kg mark without issues this time. Ben, stepping up again from his usual welterweight division, also registered 72 kg at a closed-door weigh-in in London. Both fighters will be monitored under a strict rehydration clause that prevents them from exceeding 77 kg on Saturday morning, ensuring a level playing field before they step into the ring. In UFC, former lightweight champion Islam Makhachev moves up to challenge welterweight title holder Jack Della Maddalena in one of the year's most anticipated MMA matchups of the year, as UFC 322 holds this weekend in New York City's iconic Madison Square Garden. Della Maddalena claimed the welterweight crown at UFC 315 in May by defeating Belal Muhammad, while Makhachev vacated his lightweight title to step into the welterweight division, setting up a high-stakes clash with the undefeated Della Maddalena. The co-main event pits 2 of the best female fighters on the planet against each other when flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko takes on Zhang Weili. Shevchenko has ruled UFC's flyweight division for the best part of 7 years and is looking to strengthen her claim to be the best women's mixed martial artist of all time. On her part, Weili is hoping to embark on a new chapter in her distinguished career after vacating her strawweight title to move up a division. And that's all on Sports News tonight. I'm Okwe Oluwadibari. Entertainment is next with Kate.
Let's turn now to Kate for the latest. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Felicity. Always a pleasure to see you.
Same.
Now, in the world of entertainment for today, Nigeria's powerhouse duo, Fireboy DML and Ashake, have reached a thrilling milestone. Their hit single, Bandana, has officially been certified gold in the United States, signaling over 500,000 units, which includes sales and streams in the U.S. market. Released in July 2022 as part of Fireboy's album, Playboy, the song dominated Nigeria's turntable charts for 7 weeks and featured a fusion of Afrobeats, Fuji, and Amapiano, bridging Nigerian street vibes with global appeal. The achievement holds dual significance. For Fireboy, it marks his second U.S. gold certification, and for Ashake, this is his first. Now moving on, David Oyelowo, the British-Nigerian actor and producer, has proposed a bold US $10 million investment strategy aimed at elevating Nollywood, Africa's most prolific film industry, into a truly global stage. The plan calls for structured capital to bolster production, distribution, and infrastructure, enabling Nollywood to compete with global film markets. Oyelowo emphasized that creativity alone is not enough. Ownership is everything. We must build and not just consume. In his view, leveraging local creative talent alongside investment can reshape Africa's image in cinema and also drive revenue from international audiences. But the big question now is, will Nigeria's financial and creative stakeholders rally behind this bold vision, or will another transformative opportunity pass Nollywood by? Felicity.
Transformative. Well, it's a great idea. I think for people to jump on, we need to know more. We have to have details. Right. So we're not selling our soul for investment. But it's a great idea.
Yes, indeed it is. And that does it on Entertainment News tonight. My name is Kate Adiogo.
And that's all we have for you tonight. But before we go, a quick reminder of our top stories. Major opposition party PDP set for national convention in Ibadan, despite existing court orders to stop Saturday meeting. DSS recaptures mastermind of Uromi bank attacks as Chief of Air Staff assures of relentlessly pursuing insurgents. And Russia warns NATO against attack following bombardment of Ukraine, says Moscow would respond with all its capabilities. Do send us your feedback. We'd love to hear them. Share with the number showing now on your screen. We'll appreciate a follow on social media. You can keep up with the latest offerings at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Apple TV, and on YouTube. Thank you very much for your kind company. Have a good night.